Hello everyone! This time latest mirrorless camera from Olympus, OMD E-M10 Mark III. So what's inside? 4x3 16 megapixel sensor, capability to record 4K video at maximum of 30 frames per second, 5-axis sensor stabilization, 121 point autofocus, articulating screen, electronic viewfinder, and in my case, whole review will be focused on combination with standard kit lens. 14 to 42mm f3.5 to 5.6 aperture, which I think is reasonable because many people who buy those cameras only use included kit lens. I was really curious to test out this camera, because I never had opportunity to try out camera with 4x3 sensor. How it compared to APS-C size sensor found in DSLR and some mirrorless? Is it necessarily worse like many say? Let's find out. One of the biggest changes from its predecessor is body material. Unfortunately, they made it worse, downgrading from metal to plastic. Unfortunately, poor quality plastic. That's a little bit disappointing considering price of this camera. Design refers to old school vintage cameras, it looks very interesting. However, I have real doubts in terms of ergonomics. First of all, it's too big for mirrorless camera. You cannot really find good bag for it, and it also won't fit into your pocket. Second, it's too heavy, on par with my DSLR, which is nonsense considering body is now plastic. Another thing to improve is grip, which is too small and not very well adjusted to hand, making it a little uncomfortable to use. Screen is articulating, but in largely restricted range. Quality isn't very good. It lacks contrast and sharpness. Some small compact cameras have better LCD. Electronic viewfinder is good enough. User interface is one big mistake. It looks like it's 10 years old, not to mention it's hard to use. Things are weirdly named in the settings, graphics meaning isn't obvious, and whole interface is pretty ugly. Autofocus is okay, but it cannot be compared to Sony mirrorless, for example. It sometimes has problems with focusing on some smaller objects, face detection is also far from perfect, it sometimes mistakes random objects detecting them as face. Another suspect in camera behavior is auto ISO, totally stupid algorithm. Most of the time given values are significantly higher than it could be. For example, I manually choose ISO 1600 and time is 130. Which is enough to shoot photo holding camera in hands. In same situation, auto ISO gave me ISO of 6400, which is ridiculous. Moving into the most important part of this review, picture and video quality. Well, it's not that simple. Several aspects are positive surprise, but there are also some downsides that drag me away from buying this camera. First, the dynamic range. I cannot stress that enough, how much important this is to me. In almost every video I emphasize this. Unfortunately, it's weakest aspect of this camera. While it's not the worst I've seen, like several Canon DSLRs, it just cannot match my Nikon's level of dynamic range. I think it's pretty clearly visible in those photos. Level of detail is little bit worse than my DSLR. I mean, it's definitely very good, but in some photos going into the crop I can't see that much depth and visible texture nuances like in my DSLR. But maybe it's only my nitpicking. And honestly, that's it. Everything apart from that is great. I especially liked JPEG processing and sharpness. Photos are razor sharp, better than my Nikon DSLR, just couple more megapixels and this camera would be absolutely best in class choice for pixel peepers. And all of those photos and my experience comes only from using included kit lens, so I can't imagine what it can do using better lens. Noise reduction is very effective, colors most of the time are accurate, and you have many picture profiles that you can choose from. Camera also features 5-axis sensor stabilization, which is really excellent for shooting photos handheld. It's not like magic, but it definitely makes shooting photos handheld a lot easier. 4K videos are detailed and very sharp. 1080p videos are not that amazing, but they are okay. Like in the photos, same goes for videos. Dynamic range could be better, because camera has tendency to blown out some things lit by the sun, for example. Automatic white balance behavior could be more stable, because it sometimes changes white balance when you move camera without changing light and settings. Another quirk is that annoying continuous autofocus. It's very slow and not very reliable. 5-axis sensor stabilization, while in photo mode is very good, videos are not that well stabilized. Low-light recordings are really impressive. Noise reduction is very nicely and subtly made. In summary, that 4x3 sensor really surprised me. I expected same problems found in 1-inch or smaller sensor, which is that characteristic flatness and noise in the crop. But that's not the case. Photos have plenty of details and excellent sharpness. I think this camera can compete with competitors that have APS-C sensor. There are some things to improve, and I know for a fact that this camera doesn't convince me to switch from my DSLR yet, but if you are looking for mirrorless camera, especially if you are looking at micro 4x3 system, definitely consider Olympus OMD E-M10 Mark III. It definitely has potential and its place on the market. Thanks for watching, and thank you to all of my subscribers. If you are new, consider subscribing my channel and rating my video. This will help me to continue my work on YouTube. See you later.